Hey, it's Mark Edward Lewis. I'm here at Cinema Sound Studio B. You know, a lot of you have asked about, on the cinemasound.com forum, how do we get mono files to become stereo? Not just, how do we, make them go left and right so that they fill up a stereo channel, but how do we really make them feel stereophonic, even if they come from a mono source? And on Cinema Sound, and especially on the MZ Education, we talk about how to use plugins, especially some of the ones that are in Adobe Audition, Waves Audio, Isotope, some of these great plugins that use all kinds of fun ways of shifting phase and delaying certain frequencies and all kinds of stuff like this. Really, really useful. But what if you don't want to do that? What if you don't have any of these plugins? And what if, the plugins that you've been trying to use on the mono material aren't working? Well, I'm going to show you the DIY, cheap, no plugins other than a simple EQ that you can use to get this effect on any mono signal and turn it into the widest stereo thing you can imagine, even a mono dialogue track. Check it out. We're here in Adobe Audition with a simple dialogue mono track. It sounds like this.
We're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed, chapter 1, but we'd love to do more than that. We'd love to see chapter 2 begin from this campaign, issues 7, 8, maybe 9.
Happens to be me. Simple mono. Now what we can do is just drag this up. Now this here is a stereo track. You can see because it has two little bits here as opposed to the one track from where it was.
We're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed.
And you can see that it sounds profoundly similar. Just because we put it on a stereo track doesn't mean that we get any kind of, new stereo imagery. So let's add a plugin. Audition has a really great stereo imagery plugin called Stereo Expander, and it has the ability to both make things mono and super stereo. So if we leave this here and play,
we're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed, chapter 1, but we'd love to do more than
that. There's kind of no difference
at
at all. You really can't tell. And the reason that is because this plugin requires that there be a little bit of stereo separation. Even just the smallest bit of stereo separation will give us what we need in this plugin to be able to really move it outside. In fact, if we move center to left,
we're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and
right,
6 completed, chapter 1.
You can definitely get that feeling, but otherwise it's still mono. So there's a bunch of plugins that we could use, but this is DIY. So let me show you kind of a Zulu cool fix for doing this. So we're going to bring this back to this mono channel. And you'll notice I have a copy of it, an exact copy of it, starting at exactly the same time at the very top. Beneath it here on another mono channel, two different mono channels. Okay, I'm going to pan one all the way left, and this one, as you can see, is panned all the way right. I'll unmute it.
We're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed.
And some of you are getting really impatient, I know, because Mark, that sounds exactly the same. I know, but here's the difference. What we're going to do is create an EQ on each channel. We're not going to use just any EQ. We're going to use a 30-band graphic equalizer. Now, this is sort of what you might see on your home stereo set, but an awful lot of bands. Each one of these bands represents 1/3 of an octave in frequency. We're going to do one on this channel here. We're going to do the same thing on this channel here, EQ, graphic EQ, 30 bands. So now what we have here is the top version and the top track and the bottom track. Because low frequencies really are sort of omnidirectional, they kind of bounce all over the place, we don't want to deal with low frequencies. And because high frequencies are so hyperdimensional, we want to actually leave them mono. So the low frequencies and the high frequencies, we want to leave mono. But those mid-range frequencies between 500 hertz and 5K, that's what we want to focus on, because those we can mess with and not have the listener feel like things are coming out of the wrong channel. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do is take a series of frequencies and pan one to the left and the other ones to the right. And what that allows for is not only incredibly beautiful mono compatibility, because you're not actually affecting the signal, you're just kind of panning certain frequencies left and right, but it makes it super wide. Let me show you what we're going to do. Okay, so here, if you look, these are, the various frequencies that each one of these bands is centered around, and then a third of an octave above, and they go like that. So we're going to start with 400 hertz. All right, so we're going to reduce this one all the way down, 400 hertz, 630, 1K, 1.6, 2.5, and 4. And then we're going to do the same, but we're going to slide everything over one notch. So instead of 400, we're going to do 500, 800, 1.25, buck 2, 3 and 2, and then 5K. And now what we've done is sort of interleaved the pulling downs of the frequencies. And let's just take a listen to one of these. This will be on the left.
We're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed, chapter 1. But
Sort of sounds like a weird phasing issue or some kind of comb filtering is what it really is. We've actually created that using this graphic EQ. Here's what the other one sounds like.
we're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed, chapter 1. But we'd love to do more than that. We'd love to see
sort of the same thing, just a different kind of comb. But when we put them together,
we're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed, chapter 1. But we'd love to do more than that. We'd love to see chapter 2 begin from this campaign.
see how all of a sudden it's super Zulu wide. I mean, it's so wide, it's like it's coming out of the sides. It's so crazy wide. And let's go to what I've actually done here is I've bussed both of these channels. Let me go to the outputs and you can see. I've bussed both of these, one to bus A and the other one to bus A. And bus A is here. If I show you the effects that I have on it, you can see I have the stereo expander, but it's off. Let's turn it on and let's see what we can do now that we have these things sort of in this kind of crazy, weird panning. So let's turn it on and let's make it mono. Remember, we always want to check to make sure that something's mono compatible. That is, that when we put it in mono, it doesn't drop the volume way down or make it really, really loud if it's in stereo. So with it on, now I have this all the way over. It's in mono.
We're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed, chapter 1.
Which sounds pretty good. Let's remember what it sounds like. I'm going to turn it off and it'll go back to our new faux stereo.
We're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed, chapter 1.
That has really the same volume value, whether it's mono or stereo, and that's what we call complete mono compatibility, and it's so amazing. Now that we have this beautiful stereo sound, let's add this expansive stereo effect to it and see what happens. So here's mono.
We're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed, chapter 1. But we'd love to do more than that. We'd love to see chapter 2 begin from this campaign, issues 7, 8, maybe 9, and 10. And that's one of the reasons why we have stretch goals outside of our 18,000.
That's super wide, crazy wide. And let's check it out again. So this is with it off, the regular stereo.
We're definitely committed to getting issues 5 and 6 completed, chapter 1.
On.
But we'd love to do more than that. We'd love to see chapter 2 begin from this campaign,
off.
Issues 7, 8, maybe 9, and 10. And that's one of the reasons why we have stretch goals.
So with this simple DIY system of using some graphic EQs in Adobe Audition, you can create an incredibly wide pan and then make it even wider with this plugin. You can do this with Dialog. You can do this on a whole mix if you want to make it even more super wide stereo without losing any mono compatibility. It's so great. And of course, you can do this on music as well. Super cool, right? Super useful and so easy to do in any digital audio workstation. But what's great about Audition is it comes with this built-in graphic EQ, and so it makes it so very easy. If you're trying this or if you want to know how to do this in a better way, come on to the cinemasound.com forum and let us know what you think and ask questions, and my staff and I and even some of the people from Adobe show up and answer questions for you about everything that you need with Audition, Premiere, Media Encoder, and all those things. And if it's just a straight digital audio workstation question, well, I'm happy to handle that too. Until then, we'll see you in post.
Even if for yourself.